Good morning. Welcome to Shields and Arrows, where we defend the faith, the family, and the fellowship. I am Pastor Mark Baze. It's been a while, but we're back. I apologize. We have been busy this week. We had 3 different days back to back of taking babies to the doctor, and they are all doing great. I appreciate your patience. I do apologize. I should have let you know in an email. I did announce it on Monday's show, so hey, you can't entirely get too mad at me. I did announce it, but I should have went ahead and let everybody know in case you missed all of that. Now, let's see here. Who all do we have on with us on YouTube, on Worshify? So glad to have every single one of you. Yeah, how do you like the new music? That actually is some of the music that premiered in our brand new show, our new video, our latest series. Now, once again, I don't know how good the internet's going to work. Please just bear with me. If it disconnects, it'll be back in a minute probably. If not, I'll upload this whole video in a little bit. Great to have all of you on. We have Ken on, Nancy, Scott, good morning. And let's see, who else? Myra, great to have you on. Kristen, good morning. Now, with that, let's talk about a few exciting things. So first and foremost, I have been teasing it. I've been telling you that I've been wanting to do something new. We've had some exciting stuff in the works, and I have been just on the edge of my seat. So excited to tell you all about this new series. And this is an entirely different format of content that is being brought to the stage. Now, I will be honest, this is maybe more aimed towards that younger generation just because of the style and the cut and the video. But I'm hoping that some of you in our more experienced group, that you still enjoy it, that you like it. And so with that, let's see here. Let me go to Worshify. So if you go to worshify.com. All right. So on worshify.com, you are going to find, obviously, here's upcoming live now, Shields and Arrows. This is the current episode. But if you go down to popular. Now come on here, I should be on there. Why is Dr. White dominating the popular stage? I have no idea why that would be the case. But if you go down to recently added, it may still be on there. Here it is, Defending the Faith. This is a brand new series that we are doing, and this is only the first edition, not addition, as I misspoke in the live stream last night. By the way, Dr. White premiered my show on there, and I just cannot thank him enough for that. That was very nice of him. But if you go down to See All Teachers, you'll see Mark Baze Ministries right there. Click on it. Obviously, here's Shields and Arrows, which you are watching right now, but here is our newest series, Defending the Faith. This is a completely new format. It is going to be very similar in that content of edited videos. This is not a Bible study per se. It's not a sermon. What it is it is a hopefully dynamic video, exciting, that will maintain people's interest, because I'm going to be talking about a lot of important matters. This first video was really just the introduction. So even though I didn't address just a ton of things, talking about different matters of doctrine and all the depths of it, this is going to be the baseline. This is the introduction to the series. And I really did want to start with, in our very first video, talking about the importance of small churches, because it's going to be the small churches that are small enough to be flexible, to be agile, that can adapt to this type of doctrine. On a large scale, these churches that are based upon just emotions, big numbers, events, they are not going to be able to transition to a Bible-based church near as easy. It's going to be very difficult for them. They're going to struggle to adapt to a Bible study format where smaller churches are united enough, or at least they can be united enough, and they're flexible enough, agile enough, quick enough to where they can start implementing the practice of good Bible teaching, good Bible doctrine. And so this series, this is the first one. Now, I will be honest with you. I am the cameraman, at least in this video I was. I may try to get some help in the future, but I'm the cameraman. Obviously, I'm the guy in the video, and I am the editor. So just please understand that this does take time. And let me tell you, this video was made possible because of you. The microphone that I was using in that video, it's the same one right here. If you want to make a good quality video, and that really is the key, one of the big focuses I had for this series was make this video look as professional as possible. And I really did try. I tried to capture the professional look. I tried to capture the quality of video. I tried to capture the quality of audio. That would not have been possible if it wasn't for you giving me the resources, the means to do so. So the microphone that I used. Furthermore, the computer. I used this computer right here that you're looking at to edit this video. I could not have edited this video together. I could not have made it without your help. You are the ones that provide this video for me. The camera and all those things that you have provided have given me the resources, have given me the ability to do this. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that you do like this new format. Now, granted, we're not shifting away from Bible study. If anything, I'm going to start trying to make it an effort to get more Bible study to you. That's just going to take some time. It's going to take some resources, and it's going to take some of your patience. But that is what we're working on. Right now, the right dividers, the good Bible teaching, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to outdo them that well. I'd like to be the best there is in the business, but my point is there's a lot of Bible study content. I mean, you can watch days, if not years worth of Dr. White teaching the Bible, as well as many other good Bible teachers. It's all out there. But what's not out there is a right dividing format of engaging, dynamic videos like this. And don't worry, I hope to implement some other good right dividers into these videos with time. Just you wait. Now, I will ask you to please be patient because these videos do take time, okay? They're not easy. They are very time consuming. So it's not going to be the case that I will be able to produce these videos on a weekly basis or even a bi-weekly. Expect these videos to have a volume or a frequency of about a month, okay? So these are going to be spaced out, but that's because I've got to get the time to film. The reason I was able to film is because you've supported my ministry enough to where we can bring extra help in, to where they can take care of the kiddos and I can go to the church and I can do these things. And also the time that it takes to edit and the equipment, the resources that all that entails. So this new format, I'm so excited about. I've been planning this for a while, months and months, and I have been wanting to do this, and finally it came to fruition. And I'm so glad that I was able to deliver this to you because I've been telling you there's exciting things I want to do with this ministry. And this isn't the only thing, don't get me wrong. I have other things that I'm wanting to accomplish, but this was one of those. And I'm excited that we were able to put it together. Overall, besides my downfalls, I can nitpick myself to death, but I hope that it is a good video that communicates the point well that these bigger churches have really sacrificed doctrine for the sake of large numbers. And these smaller churches are the ones that not necessarily do, because you'll notice in the video, I didn't say that at the very end of the video, I said, these smaller churches, you guys are the answer to how we're going to fight to defend the faith, but you're not in fighting shape yet. And that's true for the majority of these smaller churches. They're not in fighting shape. We've got to get them there. So the next video, I kind of teased it a little bit. If you watch the very end there, I gave you a little bit of a teaser. We're going to talk about Bible translation, and that's going to be important because all these churches, even small churches, they have not really considered the importance of the doctrine of preservation and translation. So with that, I'm hoping that once again, here's another video that will come out that will be in the format that may catch some younger audiences and get some people directed that way, because we do want the next generation of right dividers, and also hopefully you enjoy it as well. And some of you maybe who want to share this content or this doctrine with your family, your friends, maybe they're not willing to just sit down and watch an hour-long Bible study, at least not yet. Hopefully that you get them there. That's the goal, to get them to the long format Bible studies and sermons. But if you can get them to watch maybe a 9.5, 10-minute long video, and that's about what these are going to be. Maybe the next one will be a little bit longer. I'm going to try to keep these under 20 minutes because I want these dynamic. I want them to be relatively easy to watch. I'm not going to get into too great a depth when it comes to the really serious meat of rightly dividing Paul in the book of Romans, for example. This series is going to be much more on the foundational principles. And that way people can watch it. Maybe they'll be able to follow it. They won't get too bogged down, but it will give them enough to where they can work on moving to that next stage. Okay? So I'm excited about this. We're going to just slowly build from here. We're going to start with the importance of Bible translation. We're going to talk about the important matters of the kingdom and prophecy, and I am excited. There's other things that I'm going to do in this series, and once again, I'm going to tease you because I'm not going to tell you everything that I have planned, okay? I'm going to leave you on the edge of your seat, but this is only the beginning, okay? We have a lot of things that we're going to be doing with this, and I'm very, very excited to get all of that to you, and I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you can see your support. This is where it's going, and I'm doing these things with the resources that you're giving me. So I am very, very grateful for that, very thankful that I'm getting this opportunity to do that. Okay. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the ministry. So this ministry started first and foremost as more of an email ministry. I just kind of want to take a moment and reflect on all this since we're kind of at this point. Then we're going to talk about some other things. I'm going to get into this actor Brian Cox talking about something really dumb and ignorant, talking about the Bible, because anytime an actor opens their mouth, you know that's going to be good quality stuff. And we'll talk about that. I also want to talk about what the real fight is. We have a picture in our head of, oh yeah, the bad guy, it's easy to see evil is evil, and I will take up my my sword or, my AR-15, and I will fight to protect my family. But the truth is, the real fight on a day-to-day basis is actually much harder than that. It's much more difficult. It would be actually easier to go to physical warfare than the things that we're fighting today. I'm going to talk about all that here in a little bit, but what I want to do for just a minute is reflect on this ministry. In about this time last year, I created the first version of the website, Mark Baze Ministries. And it was a site for some of my articles and my sermon notes. Very, very primitive, very, very basic. And I'm still working on revamping it, trying to make it better. And I started the email campaigning towards the end of the summer, the 1st of August. And I had a list of probably 20 people maybe, and I was just sending them weekly emails telling them what I did. This is my sermons, here's an article. Then, over time, Dr. White worked on me a lot. He said, you need to start doing a live stream. And I'm trying, and right now it's not easy, but I think that so far we're working today, and that's good. But I started videoing my sermons, uploading them, sharing them with you, and our audience slowly grew on the email list. Then finally, we started live streaming sermons and our daily show. And just to show you, let's see here, let's go back in the archives. If we go back to Worshipify and we go to our very earliest daily Shields and Arrows episode. Here was our very first Welcome to Shields and Arrows. And here you go. Here's our first Shields and Arrows episode. It was a half-hour show back then. And let's see if it will load for me to where you can see where we started. So here it was. This was out of the hotel room because at the time we were waiting for the triplets to be born. I was using a less than ideal microphone. Let's see here. I am a pastor. I'm excited for you to be here. This show is going to be dedicated to defending the faith, family, and fellowship. We are wanting to promote, encourage, stand for manly men leading the churches as pastors, as members, and leading their families. And with that being said, we also want to promote women who love their families, nurture their families, serve their churches. And so we're going to be covering a little bit of everything in this show. We're going to be talking about current events, whether it's going to be political things on the news, maybe it's just news within Christianity. All right, so that was the very first edition of Shields and Arrows, and I was using that old computer. Do you remember that computer? It had duct tape literally holding it together. It was the old laptop I used in college, and it worked very slow. It struggled. You could see the quality of the video there. But that was the first Shields and Arrows episode, and now here we are. This is episode number 75. And the progress that we've made now, the quality of the sound, the quality of the video, our internet maybe isn't the best. It struggles in the hotel room just a little bit possibly, but it struggles here in not the hotel room. I'm at my house. But a brand new camera, new computer, new microphone. I have a brand new switcher here that you have provided. It's amazing to look at. This was back in January. Actually, this was around the 1st of January. So here we are in May and looking at the progress that we've made. I could not have done this without you. You have made this possible. So we started out needing a computer, and you met that need, and here it is. It's an amazing computer. It has helped me so much. It allows me to make these videos, to edit them, because I knew I had the picture in my mind of what I wanted this new series, Defending the Faith, to look like. And so I knew that my old computer was not going to do it. It was not going to get the job done. And so you came through in amazing ways, supported my ministry, helped me get this new equipment. I knew that we needed a camera that wouldn't shut down. Whenever I started using a nicer camera for Shields and Arrows, it actually would turn off about every 20 minutes. So there would be times I'd have to crawl across the table and turn it back on, because that camera just wasn't designed to video for long times, long formats. And so it really has been amazing to me. It looks like our internet's about to crash on us, maybe. So be patient. We'll be back here in about 5 minutes. I'll continue to talk, though, while you hopefully can watch and still follow along a little bit. One of these days, maybe Elon Musk is going to get Starlink figured out. But in the meantime, here we are. We're going to see what we can do, see what we can get done. Also, we needed a good microphone. The quality of the microphone, let me see here. I don't see the microphone that I have, but I was using a cheaper mic that caught a lot of background noise, and now donations, I was able to get a microphone better than I even imagined. And I want to thank Nathan White for that, because he helped me so much on knowing what to get, because I had no idea. I didn't know what was good and what kind of equipment I needed, what specs or anything when it came to those matters. So I had so many people help me along the way to be able to get the stuff that I needed and figure all this out, put this together. We also, like I said, the camera was a big deal. This is a very nice camera. It has allowed me to go and do a lot of things. I have been able to video Shields and Arrows with it. I have videoed the Bible conference. I videoed the Sunday sermons with it. And it has really been so nice. And guess what? Another exciting announcement. The camera is on the way. Yes, I have a new camera. So there's this one that I use here, and now I'm going to have a camera I'll have at the church. And this camera is going to be center-lined. It's going to be very nice. I can just walk in, flip it on, and it is ordered. It is heading this way, and I plan on using it this coming Sunday, or not this Sunday, but next Sunday, as long as everything works out. So once again, I'm blown away. I'm excited. You have done this once again. You are just as much a part of this ministry as anybody, because without you, I would be sitting here with my duct-taped computer trying to talk to all of you, and this has gone just amazing. So much better than what I could have ever possibly imagined. Let's see here. I'll look at some of your comments before we get ready to move on to our new segment. Nancy says, looking forward to the new series. Your video on small churches was great. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Yeah, I really do believe it. You know, I know that small churches, a lot of them are confused too. Not a lot of churches have this figured out, rightly dividing the Bible or understanding the mystery revealed to Paul. But them, maybe not all of them, but I think that we can reach a number of them. We just have to make that effort. Oh, Ken, how bad's the traffic? Ken's on the road once again. He is a traveling man, Ken is. A lot of flooding in Houston. Nancy, how do you like the new music? I think we've talked about it already. That was at the close of the video. Yeah, so that's another thing I was able to do, is I actually got a license now to access some music for the video editing. I thought, hey, let's use some of our cool music in our intro. Maybe it fits the scene a little bit better. Scott said before, think you need a hook to get people into church. Can't use the methods of evangelicals. Only thing you can think of is community activism. Yeah, getting to know people outside of church is a good way. And I've made some connections. That's how I've gotten some people in, by just having meals with them, talking to them, getting to know them. Yeah. I think it's raining outside now, so this may be where I lose you. I'm going to make the rest of the video and then I'll upload it, okay? So if this shuts down and you lose me, just bear with me, okay? So I appreciate y'all. All right, now, I want to talk about something today. After all this is Shields and Arrows, we got to talk about defending the faith, the family, the fellowship. So there is an actor named Brian Cox, and Brian Cox, apparently he played in a show or a movie called Succession. This is one of the things that amuses me. Brian Cox is an actor, and actors love to just start talking about things that they have no idea about. See, actors are not content with just providing entertainment. And I don't know why. I don't know if they feel like that's not enough. I think that, I don't know, I'm not somebody who says that it's dumb for there to be actors and actresses in movies. I enjoy watching good movies. But why can't your service be just providing good movies? Movies that inspire us or tell a good story or adapt history well or make us laugh. Nowadays we can't have comedies because we can't have any sense of humor. But actors, for some reason, feel the need to be activists as well. And I think it's because they do look at their professions as somewhat vain in some ways. You know, oh, I want to be famous. I want everybody to know my name. So maybe there's a little bit of a guilty conscience kind of complex going on with them. So they feel the need to speak out on all these things. Climate change and women's rights and racism and all those other isms that they feel the need to grandstand and stump for. Well, Brian Cox, whoever this guy is, once again, probably a high and mighty actor who is not any kind of serious theologian. Let's see. For Brian Cox, this is the article on USA Today. So USA Today, obviously a great source of wisdom and knowledge. The Holy Book doesn't have a prayer. The Succession star opened up about his views on religion, including his scathing take on the Christian Bible. The Christian Bible. There's just the Bible. There's not the Christian Bible. In a lengthy interview on the Starting Line podcast published Sunday, when Starting Line host Rich Lee asked if religion limits humanity's advancement, Cox emphatically agreed. This is where these pot-smoking hippies sit around and say, man, if we could just get rid of religion, man, we would progress. This is no new idea. Okay, this is no new idea. Remember John Lennon, the song Imagine? One of the dumbest, worst songs ever written. Okay? Imagine there's no heaven. It's not hard if you try, or whatever the words are. So stupid. It's the Marxist, communist idea. If we could just get rid of God, every man would be united, and we would have no conflict, no wars. Everyone would hold hands and sing Kumbaya, and what a perfect world that would be. If just all the people would stop living as if there's a God, or as if there's a heaven, or if there's a hell, as if there's any true morality, any source of actual authority. If we would just all live for today, live for the moment, then everything in life would just be perfect, and we would all be in harmony, and utopia would finally come. This is nothing new. They want to act like this is some new thing. This goes all the way back to the garden. The serpent, to Adam and Eve. Did God really say, if you eat from the tree, you'll be as gods. You'll be like God. That is what the Marxist communist view is. That you are God, that you are not beholden to any authority above you, that you do not have to read a source of divine literature to instruct you how to live, that humanity can live for the moment, that we can fix every problem, that we do not need to rely on anybody to give us wisdom, to give us truth. We can decide what is right. We can decide what is wrong. We can usher in the new world order. We can fix every single problem. Man is the answer. Man is the solution. Man is God. That is the Marxist communist ideology, and that's what this is right here. The idea that religion only limits our advancement. If we would just get rid of religion, we could transcend above, and that's what's holding us back from this future worldview. That is the Marxist communist ideology. It's nothing new. They're not inventing anything. They're just repeating the same old tired mantras. It's ignorance. That's what it is. Ignorant. If you're from Southeast Oklahoma, that's how you say it. Ignorant. There's just one vowel in ignorant if you're from Oklahoma. It's I-G-N-R-T. Ignorant. Maybe you don't even pronounce the T. Religion does hold us back because it's belief systems which are outside ourselves. That's interesting. That's almost insightful. It's belief systems which are outside ourselves. It is not man searching within himself to find the answer. It's not man searching in what is my wisdom? What is my capacity to decide what is right and what is wrong and what's true, what is good, what is beauty, what is wickedness. Cox said, they're not dealing with who we are. We're dealing with, if God says this and God does that. The whole idea of Christianity and religion is there's somebody else who knows more than us. That rely not on your own understanding. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. The heart is deceitful above all else. Who can understand it? There's this serious issue. I know I look a little bit rough today, don't I? I've got my monitor over here, and this also tells me if I'm going live and everything. So this is why I look over to my left. I got to get better about that. Dr. White says, quit looking to your left, quit looking to your left. Well, I want to make sure that I'm on air and I'm going live. See, I've been in Dr. White's studio. Okay, I've been in the live studio audience. He has a sign that lets him know he's on air, like up there by the camera. So whenever he's looking, he can just look and you can't really tell. I don't have that luxury. Maybe one of these days. So I have to look over here and I'm noticing I got to get a shave, don't I? Looking a little bit scruffy. I'll get cleaned up. Don't worry. You try having 4 kids under the age of 3, well, my son did have a birthday recently, so now I have 4 kids, 3 and younger. How about that? See if you get a shave in every single day. Now, with that, the entire premise is man does not rely on his own understanding. That God has given us His divine revelation so we can look to Him. So we can have true wisdom. If we walk away from God's revelation, if we walk away from God and the principle that there is a God, in the beginning God, the first 4 words of the Bible, we are abandoning wisdom. We are abandoning our knowledge, our understanding of the truth. So he actually says something that's correct, that religion, its belief system is outside of ourselves. Man did not create it. This is not something we conjured up, which is funny. Because if you read his article here, he's even admitting that religion is not from man. Christianity, the Bible, is not from man. So he's almost agreeing with us, because we would say, no, man didn't invent the Bible. The Bible is God's record of His revelation. It's His word given to us. So we didn't come up with it. We didn't conjure this up. And he even says so. It's from outside ourselves. So even he's admitting that the Bible came from God and not man. He's contradicting himself. Cox said, they're not dealing with who we are. We're dealing with, if God says this and God does that. Well, who's the authority on the matter? Yes, God said this and God does that. And you go, well, what is God? Now, here's where it goes. We've created that idea of God. We've created it as a control issue. So he contradicted himself. He's saying 2 things at once. That the belief systems are outside of ourselves. We did not come up with this. And then he wants to say, well, you created God. Which one is it? Did the belief system come from outside ourselves? Is it outside of ourselves? Or did we conjure it up? He's speaking out of both sides of his mouth. So it's this idea of, you just created God and you made the God that you wanted. And it's also, he's got to throw it in there because he's a woke Hollywood celebrity. It's also a patriarchal issue. See, God is called Father, and the patriarchy is oppressive, and women are slaves to men. Men are so abusive to women. And a feminist who is childless into her 60s, she's so much happier than some woman who had to have children and hold a baby and love on the baby, and the baby call her mama, and have a bond, a maternal bond with a child that you grew and you birthed into this world and that is relying on you. Here we go. and we have to honor women, he says, and we have to give them their place. And we're resistant to that because it's Adam and Eve. See, Adam came first, then Eve. Get rid of all the source of order. Get rid of any type of structure or hierarchy or principles, and let everybody be equal. See, this is the thing. There are different types of equality. Men and women are equal in the sense of value. They're both humanity. Eve came from Adam. He came from his rib. And I think there's some, you hear in the weddings all the time that Adam was formed for his rib, not from his head to rule over him or his foot to be trodden on by him, but from his side, to be under his arm, to be protected and cared for by him. I think there's an argument to be made there. Yeah, from his side, to stand by his side. So when it comes to equality of value, woman is just as valuable as man. She is just as human. She is just as much loved by God. But when it comes to authority, when it comes to leadership, women and men are not equal in that sense. Men are the leaders. That doesn't mean that a woman is useless. On the contrary, any man who has a wife knows that women are so much better at, for one, being patient with the children. At least that's my experience. Mary is able to endure them a whole lot easier than I am. I'm not as good at being patient. She can stay up for hours on end, soothing our children to get them to fall asleep. I do not have that patience. I get very frustrated very quickly. My wife is so much more compassionate than I am. She's way more compassionate. There'll be nights whenever and I'm not going to tell on her too much, I'm bragging on her, I'm commending her, that we would have received word at church that somebody's mother passed away or somebody's sick or fill in the blank. And we'll be laying in bed at night and she will be broken over what she heard. And I mean, I'm sad too. I pray for them. I feel compassion towards them. But my wife, she thinks about you. I promise you, if you tell my wife about something you have suffered or you are struggling with, she does not forget about you. She thinks about you. She cares about you in a way that's much better than I do, honestly. Men and women have their place, equal in value, but their jobs are not equal. Equal in worth, yes, equal in significance, but what they do, the roles they play are not equivalent. They are not interchangeable. That's why it's not good for a child to just be raised by a mother. I'm not saying one can't, but it's not ideal. And ideally, if a mother is widowed or whatever other extraneous circumstances that she can't control, that child needs a man in his life, whether that's his grandpa or some kind of father figure, the woman remarries, whatever the case may be. Likewise, a man, if his wife passes, he does not need to raise those children alone. He does need to find a woman to give that maternal care. Those things matter. I cannot be a mother to my children because I'm their father. I cannot do it. I cannot meet those roles that they need. That's why children that are raised in single homes struggle greatly. They struggle greatly. This woman was created and people believe it because they're stupid enough. So he goes on and says at the end, they need some kind of truth, and this is not a truth, it's a mythology. You know what's more absurd, Brian? That there's an almighty creator. He spoke everything into existence. He formed man from the dust of the earth. He breathed life into him, and the man became a living soul. He formed woman out of the rib of the man. What's harder to believe, that? Or, in the beginning there was nothing, and that nothing exploded. And that nothing all of a sudden, amazingly, miraculously became something. And that something, over the course of billions and billions of years, became ooze. And that ooze started jumping around and dancing around with other ooze. And that ooze got all excited, and all of a sudden ooze became a little critter. And that critter started running around, and guess what? Somehow it produced more critters, and those critters were all running around, and critters were just all over the place. And those critters started turning into other critters, and they started running around and jumping and climbing and growing hair and tails, and then they started turning into monkeys, and those monkeys kept running around and started talking and then turned into people. Which one sounds like mythology? Evolution is a joke. It's a joke. There are adaptations within a species. Things evolve, but we do not come from other species. That is absolutely absurd. That, Brian, is mythology. Evolution is mythology. You have no answer. You've got zero answer for how life came to be, how the earth came to be, anything came into existence. And you believe, Brian, I guarantee that you believe that a man can become a woman. I guarantee that's a belief that you have, that a man can be a woman. And you believe that an unborn child is not a person and can be murdered. And furthermore, you believe that there is no real truth. There's only your truth and my truth. You are a walking contradiction. You have not two brain cells to rub together. You could not power a light bulb with your brain capacity. You could not even lightly burn a piece of toast. You're a joke, Brian. You should probably shut up and get back to acting. You probably shouldn't even do that because most actors nowadays are no good anyways. My goodness. Please just stop opening your mouth. You're embarrassing yourself. I feel bad for you. I honestly feel bad that I even made fun of you, Brian. No, I don't. I don't feel bad at all. All right, so I just had to address, I had to talk about how foolish and ignorant that statement was. Brian Cox, the dumbest take of the day. we need to have a segment called the Dummy Award, and we will give that award away. And today, Brian, you received the Dummy Award. Everybody, big round of applause for Brian Cox. You are so smart that you think that just because a man puts on a dress and changes his name to Shirley, that he's a woman. Shirley, you can't be serious. And I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. Haven't you missed Shields and Arrows? Aren't you glad that we're back? It is stink that it's Friday because I won't be back tomorrow. I do take the weekend off a little bit. The compassionate women are very prevalent at the university riots. Oh yes, so compassionate. Those poor, poor Hamas that put babies in front of them to be shot by missiles. Your Clark Kent Act will never fly with a beard. It's fair. It's fair. Does the beard help me look older, though? Does it make me look more intelligent, more distinguished? Probably not today, because the hair's looking a little bit ruffled, too. Spontaneous generation disapproved Louis Pasteur 200 years ago. Yep. Yeah, they thought they had their answer, that life could just occur spontaneously. It was no big thing, that life was just spontaneously appearing all the time, so no need for God. Spontaneous generation's a joke, and so is Brian Cox. All right. Giving you a moment to see if we have any comments there before we go into our third and final segment of the day. Riding at 42 minutes now of somewhat decent internet. What about that? I've actually been going okay. Not the worst. It's not the worst I've ever seen. Oh, by the way, please. Okay, we're going to do Theology Thursday. I need questions. My question bank is almost empty. So if you have theology questions, send them to me so I can answer them. It's like discount Ask the Theologian, just with more hair. And probably less snarkiness. Maybe less sarcasm. Maybe. I'm well on my way, though. What I lack in years of experience and being able to quote a whole bunch of stuff from dead people, I can just make up with my boyish charm. All right. I don't see any questions rolling in about that segment, so I want to talk about one other thing. This is our closing comments, and an important matter that I want us to think about. Very, very significant. Whenever you're young, especially a young man, you picture fighting the bad guys. You imagine yourself the hero. You're the knight fighting the dragon. And you see the enemy, the bad guys, as obviously bad. They are ugly. They look like monsters. They sound like monsters. They are wearing the enemy armor, bearing the enemy flag. And you picture that being your fight. Or even today, I'm a father, I want to protect my family. I have the picture of these men all in black trying to break into my house to hurt my family, and I have got to stand between them. I am the protector. I'm the defender. The truth is, my family is threatened every day. My society is threatened every day. My church is threatened every day. I am attacked every day. The real fight is so much harder. You see, I think of Lord of the Rings, for example. The orcs were clearly bad. They looked evil. They talked evil. They acted evil. It was easy to discern between the good guys and the bad guys. The good guys wore the shining armor. And the reality is, there is a fight today. There is a threat. There is a war being waged. But the real fight is even more difficult than a physical one. And it's a whole lot easier to be motivated to fight in a physical fight. I believe that. I've never been in a fight, at least a serious life or death one. But as a father, I try to mentally prepare myself that whatever the case may be, I'm going to do what it takes to protect my family. So if a big, mean brute came in with a knife wanting to hurt my family, I'm going to do whatever it takes to see that that monster does not hurt my family. But there are monsters every day, and I'm not always as prepared to fight them. Think about all the depravity that's on TV, even the kid shows that seek to undermine my children. How good of a job am I at analyzing that? Some of the videos I watch a lot of stuff. And it's important stuff, but they're not always they're most kid-friendly. What are the things that my son may be hearing that I don't realize he is? And it's not easy to be a good guy today. If you're a good guy today, you will very much probably be the odd man out when it comes to social gatherings. Even amongst Christians, I'm the odd man out when it comes to meeting with any other pastors in the association. I'm not one of them. Now, they're friendly to me. I'm not saying they're rude, but when it comes to theology, they can all talk and discuss, but they know that if I open my mouth, it's not going to be aligned with what they hold to. You may not have an army standing with you as a good guy. It may just be you and a few others. And those that threaten my family may not be in the form of a big, terrible brute. It may be in the form of a good-looking woman that would seek to break apart my marriage and destroy my marriage and then destroy my family as a result. The temptation to be a good guy is not, or the motivation to be a good guy is not as always as easy because the temptation's there. With churches, the big bad guy is not some tattooed up, pierced, raving, screaming Satanist. It's a pastor with a slick appearance and smooth voice, uttering a bunch of nonsense about the Bible, deceiving them, deceiving himself. And you have to be willing to always stand guard. Never let your guard down. What songs you may listen to, what things you may see, or what you may believe. The fight is a hard fight. The danger is ever present. The enemy is always there, and the enemy will not always look like an enemy. I'm not saying that those pastors are my enemy, but they are doing the work that leads to greater confusion, greater damage. Now, there are some pastors that are our enemy. I'm willing to say that, and I'm not going to hold back from that. There are some that deny the essential truths of the Bible. If you are a pastor that claims Jesus was, homosexual, you are beyond the point of accidentally misinterpreting the Bible. You are malicious, and you are a threat, and I am not going to tolerate you. Not for a second. If you are someone that holds the Bible to be the opinion of man, you're ignoring the Bible. You're not listening to what it says. 2 Timothy 3:16. You're a threat, and I'm not going to tolerate you. So those dangers are very present, but they're not always the way you think they're going to be. They're not always going to look the way that you want to look or that you expect them to look. And those that seek to destroy you, they're not going to look like an orc. They're not going to look like an ogre. They're not going to look like a dragon. They may come as a temptress. So there's a fight today, but the real fight that you face on a daily basis, it's harder than the one that you make up in your mind. Because I make up scenarios in my mind all the time. If I'm at Walmart, which I try not to be as often as I can, but sometimes Walmart, in a rural area in Oklahoma, Walmart's where you got to go. If I'm in Walmart and there's a shooter, I play that scenario. But how often am I preparing myself on a daily basis to speak lovingly to my wife, to make sure that there's nothing that comes between us, that I ensure that I care for her and I make sure that our relationship is strong? How often then am I keeping guard that my church is being well protected doctrinally? The real fight is very hard. You've got to be willing every day to get up and make that fight. Stand your ground and be prepared. Because the threat is very real. It's always present. And every single day, you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready to stand your ground, take the fight to the enemy, and recognize the enemy for what they are. All right, well, that's about what I've got for you today. 51 minutes, maybe a little bit short, but it's good to be back. I'll give you a few minutes. If you have any questions or comments, I'll sit here and wait for those to roll in, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Now, if it's a theology question, I'm going to put it in the doc for next Thursday. But if it's any other questions relating to the videos, relating to ministry type stuff or political stuff, worldview type stuff, I'll gladly take those, and we can talk about it. Because like I said, I owe you 8 minutes. As long as if you have 8 minutes that you want to spare, if you have any questions that you want to give or comments or anything like that, I'm here for you for the next 8 minutes, so I can sit here and smile at the camera, or we can talk about whatever other things you may want to discuss. Minutes, as long as if you have 8 minutes that you want to spare, if you have any questions that you want to give or comments or it looks like y'all may just be It looks like y'all just may be watching me watch you. Watch me. Watching you, watching me, watch you, watch me. It looks like y'all may just be... Let's read some of your older previous comments. Yep, new camera's on the way. I'm excited about that. It's going to be really nice. Really nice. It's going to be good to have it centered. It's going to look a little bit more professional. And I'm going to make sure I have it angled to where you can get the good view of the TVs as well, because the other angle you could kind of see the TVs, but not great, because those TVs, it was kind of angled. But now these are going to be straight on, and it'll look really good. Really good. Thank you, Jerry. He said good broadcast. I appreciate you. He was very persnickety and pointed out my grammatical error. In the live streams, I'm trying so hard to get it out there while it's relevant, because sometimes he'll mention something or there'll be a chat and it's very relevant and I want to get it there then and there, and sometimes I don't pay attention to, wait, which word did I use? Was the word I used correct or was it not? I'm happy. The internet actually held up okay. I know we dropped maybe a few times, but it wasn't too bad. Scott says, you know, a podcaster that just keeps his switcher or whatever you call it right in front of him and is completely visible. Why not? So I could do that. I guess I could have it right here where I'm not having to reach over and do all this. I don't know. I just like the clean look. So I'm gonna tell you something, okay? This is movie magic. This desk is not as big as you think. I mean, it's actually like, it's only like this big. And I'm able to cheat the system a little bit because I actually sit further to this side of the desk than this one. So I create the illusion maybe that there's a bunch of space here. And it's really not even that deep either. Like this is not that far in front of me. And so I've set things up to where the camera's angled to where the computer hides because you can't quite see the edge of the table. And you know, you think the table may end further out here when in reality it doesn't. So the main reason why is because I like to keep my table opened and clean. If I set it right here where it's immediately available, there's so many cords attached to it that it may fall off. That's another thing I'm going to work on once I get the new set built, and there will be a new set. That's going to come. It's just going to take some time. But that'll probably be the next thing we do now that we've got the new camera. We'll start working on getting a new set. But when I do, I'm going to have a nicer desk, a bigger desk to where I'm not quite as refined. But this is a small table. It's basically one of those coffee tables. Not quite, but I have I remember my mom came over one time and she saw my studio and she said, "That's it?" I'm like, "Yes, Mom." Starting out small, Velcro. Yeah, I could maybe do that. Make it work, because it is kind of a pain to reach way over here and have to do all this. All right, well, I'm about 57 minutes in. I think that probably, since I haven't got anything too pressing, you are content. I hope you are. I do apologize for being gone all week, but I'm back. All right. So, with that, I am very thankful for you. I'm not going to be preaching this Sunday. My wife and I were taking a little bit of a trip to observe our anniversary, 6 years of being married, and we are excited about that. Going to take a little bit of time off. I'm not a big fan of taking time off, but she kind of forced me to, because I'm a workaholic in some ways, but I like to work hard. I enjoy my job, and I really do. And until next time, this has been Shields and Arrows, where we defend the faith, the family, and the fellowship. I am Pastor Mark Baze. You can find my videos on Worshipify or YouTube if you like to support the communists. You can also find my sermons, my articles, and content on my website, markbazeministries.org. I appreciate you as you continue to be fellow defenders of the faith. With that, have a great weekend. We will see you Monday.